Hey everybody. Yeah, I'm just here to explain the four true forms of government again. Apparently, there's a lot of people out there running with my analysis of gauging governments by their financial transactions, by holding government accountable for either allowing free trade and freedom among people in their countries or manipulating the process and using coercion and force against their own people to transfer wealth. So I want to go over this one more time because there are a lot of people that are being confused with the whole socialist, democrat, communist, oligarch, fascist, dictatorship, king, queen analogy. Sorry, there's a B out here. But okay, let's cover this again real quickly. All governments transfer wealth. Let me say that again. All governments transfer wealth. Why? Because all government is a social contract among citizens of agreeing that this is how we're going to transfer wealth. We can do it in one of two manners. We can either have freedom of trade and freedom of spending and freedom of association, or we can use force to transfer wealth. Those are the only two ways it's ever been found in the history of mankind. Now, when you look at the four true forms of government, what we have is, number one, government of the poor. Number two, government of the rich. Number three, rule of one. And number four, government of all. I hear a lot of anarchists saying, well, I hate government. Well, when you say you hate government, what you're saying you hate is you hate transfer of wealth. Well, that's okay, but just because you've never been exposed to actual true freedom doesn't mean that you should hate it. And I've got some anarchist friends I've been trying to explain this to. You know, how do you get rid of mobs of citizens when you're talking about pure democracy where the 51% gets to vote to shoot the other 49% in the head to steal their property? What do you do about communism? What do you do about socialism? What do you do about fascism? You know, what do you do about oligarchies? What do you do about kings, queens, emperors? What do you do about all that? These are mobs of citizens. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about mobs of citizens who use government as a tool to initiate coercion and force to steal property. That's what we're talking about here. Or you can support a social contract where people are allowed freedom and liberty to spend on the things think that they need in life, where government isn't put in a position to make decisions for you. Because I'm going to be honest, I don't think there's anyone that can run my life better than me. I don't think I can run someone else's life better than they can. Yeah, are there going to be people that fall down? Absolutely. Are there going to be people that fail? Absolutely. The truth is, I failed when I was younger. Everybody fails when they're young. That's how we learn not to make mistakes. That's how we grow as individuals. That's how we become better people. We make mistakes, we own up to them, and we correct them, don't we? That's how it's done. As long as government is going to hand out to people monetary theft, basically, stealing from one person to give to another, where's the accountability? Where's the responsibility? Where's the personal growth? There is none. There's only indoctrination to the system, whatever your system may be, because I can promise you, in a dictatorship, those governments are preaching to their people why their dictatorship is so great. If you're in a democratic system, they're preaching to you why democracy is so great. But at the end of the day, can anyone look themselves in the eye and say, you know what, I really believe that we should be using coercion and force to transfer wealth? Because that's what it comes down to. It comes down to the non-aggression principle, which I am an advent supporter of. You know, and people need to realize that there's nothing that government can do to replace personal responsibility. They can't make you a better person. They cannot make your life better. They can't take care of you from cradle to grave. They will run out of money. We're running out of money now in the United States because we're trying to take care of the world. Our country's being extorted by the United Nations, by the Congress, by the president, by everybody. They're taking our money, our retirements, our money that we paid in for Social Security, for example, and just giving it away, giving it to people. that wasn't free money. That money was never intended for the rest of the world. It wasn't intended for even people in the U.S. that didn't pay into it. It was a retirement account for individuals in our country, and it's being robbed. And people's retirement's going away quickly. And they continue to put more restrictions on private retirement now. And they're going to try to come after it sooner or later if this trend continues, because they have to, because they're bankrupt. They have no money left. But anyway, back to the 4 true forms of government. If you support pure democracy, where the 51% vote to shoot the other 49 in the head to steal their wealth, if you support socialism, if you support communism, if you support fascism, if you support oligarchies, you know, what we're talking about here are entitlements and subsidies, aren't we? That's what we're talking about in the U.S. right now. Entitlements and subsidies. Who's paying for it? Who's paying for all this? The middle class, of course. The poor don't have any money. You can't tax corporations because they added into the final product price, so therefore you can't tax the rich. So I guess my question is, why would you vote? Why would you elect people to tax yourself and steal from you to give to other people? Is nobody in this country feeling any financial hardship right now? Is that what I'm hearing? We're all wealthy. We're all just enormously rich. We've got all our dreams have come true. We've got our college educations funded for our children. We've got our retirement set back. We're just set for life. Is that what I'm hearing out of the American people? Because if that's your cry, I'm going to say that you're being intellectually dishonest. I don't believe for a minute that everybody in this country has a retirement setback for them right now. In fact, I know they don't. I don't believe for a minute that you've got a college fund for your children's education that's fully funded and ready to go to get them a proper education. And yet, we're being manipulated by politicians to vote against ourselves. I'm telling you right now, if you vote for a politician that wants to transfer wealth using coercion and force, you are voting against the middle class in America. Again, the poor doesn't have any money. The rich can't be taxed, so where does it come from? The middle class. Well, and the poor, basically. The poor will take a pay cut because they're going to have to buy the products too. So all these poor people that say, hey, you know, we want to tax these evil corporations, they're not thinking this thing all the way through, are they? Anyway, in summary, government of the poor, pure democracy, socialism, communism, government of the rich, fascism, oligarchy, rule of one, dictator, kings, queens, emperors, you know. And then, of course, we can all vote for government of all. We can vote for non-initiation of force to transfer wealth and make our society a more peaceful place. We could reduce our police state. You know, we could abolish the IRS. And I know a lot of people don't agree with the fair tax. They don't agree with a consumption tax or a sales tax or whatever you want to call it. But you know what? As far as I'm concerned, if we can eliminate initiating force against people to transfer wealth, whether you agree with socialism or whatever, that's a step in the right direction. Because I'll never believe that imprisoning people or shooting people dead or stealing their property is a moral and ethical way to transfer wealth. It is immoral. And if you're a Christian or a religious person in the U.S. and you walk to the polls this next November, and you vote, you better think about that. Because if you're voting for politicians who use coercion and force, you're just not a very good Christian. Your religion doesn't have your faith isn't as strong as you say it is it? It's not. Anyway, God bless. Everybody have a great day, and I hope everybody learned something from this video. Thank you.